Hello, Inspire students. This is Mrs. Brown, your principal. And happy last day of school. I can't believe we made it here in this strange and sometimes awful and sometimes wonderful year. So congratulations. We're so proud of you. You made it. I realize that I've talked a lot with our school staff and a lot with your parents about what our plans for the school year are next year, but don't think I've talked enough with you, the students, about what we're thinking and how school's going to look for next year. So I kind of want to give you a brief overview. And of course, everything is subject to change, but this is basically our plan for next year. And I'll call this the new normal because I don't even know what normal is anymore. So we'll just call it the new normal. So for next year, let's see if I can get my slideshow to move. There we go. We really, as a school community, have been talking a lot about what is the purpose of school and what do we do at Inspire? And I think with all the changes, this has been a great opportunity to think about what is school for anyway. It's not just academics, it's a lot of other things. So I'm going to show you kind of a summary of what you all have been saying, because I think this speaks a lot to what we need to focus on as a school. You said student well-being is a priority in Inspire. I'm really glad to hear that. Because I feel like social and emotional wellness is as important as academic wellness. So that's something we'll continue to focus on. This really deep learning. So you said Inspire encourages us to pursue our passions, whether that's in the arts, the performing arts, music, the sciences, environmental science, theater, all of these different things that you can dive into and learn deeply. And that connection, I think one of the things we really missed, we all missed this year, is that feeling of being together as a school community. One of you said, and this was during distance learning, I wish we had more social interaction. So I'm so excited to be able to get back to that, to be with you amazing human beings next year. And I know your teachers have just been so glad to have you back on campus. So we'll definitely be focusing on more opportunities for connection. You said teachers are understanding and they try to help, and you said that about each other too. I feel like we have this really caring community of teachers and students and parents who really are looking out for each other. And that's super important because it's been a hard year. It's been a hard year for all of us, and we need to always continue to take care of each other. One of you said, I think we need more civil discourse. And so many of you said, Inspires a school where a lot of different perspectives can be heard. We have a lot of, we don't all think the same. And that's a beautiful thing. And so I feel like school is really important for helping us navigate this really complex world where there are a lot of different opinions out there. And we'll continue to focus on being able to talk to each other and listen to each other and weigh all of these different perspectives to think about what's right for us. And then school is also about giving us purpose and focus. I know that I felt, and some of the staff felt, and definitely you felt at times during this year, oh my gosh, I feel so lost. I don't know what my purpose is as a student or as a teacher or as a principal. And so getting back to this feeling of purpose and focus. One of you said there is a constant drive to be better as a whole. I think that's one of the best parts of Inspire is we're all trying to get better and keep our expectations high for each other. So thinking about all of these things, these have all played a part in our planning for next year. And then we've also been looking closely at what the experts, the public health experts are saying about whether we should be going back to school or not. So we tried to be responsive to the information that was coming out about COVID as it came out and to make decisions as a whole school community. Now that a lot of schools have come back all over the nation and all over the world, we have a lot more research on how safe it is to be in school in a pandemic. So this is some information that has come out from the CDC, and you can find other research too. I'm happy to help you do that. But the key idea is that in-person learning has not been associated with substantial community transmission. I know one of the big things we were nervous about or scared of is that we'd all go back to school and we'd all get sick from each other. But what we know now is that transmission in schools is actually lower than levels of community transmission. And that's because we've been behaving more safely around each other with these rules in place than would happen typically in the community. So that's good news. And then it really takes multiple layers of safety measures. Those lead to lower incidence of transmission. So having your mask on and being socially distanced and all those things put into place makes school a safer place to be. And that schools that expect and address positive COVID cases, that minimizes the risks of outbreaks in schools. So we have a whole protocol for what happens if somebody gets sick. And since we've been back in person, we have had 2 positive COVID cases. And what we did is we immediately reacted by letting Butte County Public Health know, by letting everyone that had interacted with this student know, and then quarantining everyone involved. And so for both of those cases, it did not lead to positive tests for the close contact. So that to us is some more good news to show that that school is a very relatively safe place to be. So the California Department of Public Health put out kind of a prediction about what schools should be planning to do for next year. And what they say is that if current trends and best practices continue, the next school year can begin with offering full in-person instruction to all students, full days, 5 days per week. And you may have to have some accommodations in place, but for the most part, everyone can come back safely in person full-time 5 days a week. So we're so excited about the opportunity for being able to come back together again. So we'll take a glance at next year's AB calendar, and this might look strange to some of the students who haven't actually been part of our AB block schedule. So the way that it works, as you can see, the days highlighted in purple. So we start August 9th. August 9th and 10th will be our first 2 days of school where we participate in fun activities with each other. We get together in our advisories. We get to learn some of the school policies. We get to know the teachers. And it's just kind of a great culture building 2 days. And then our AB classes start. So where you see this kind of turquoise color, that's an A day, and you would go to periods 1 through 4. So we're going to go back to a regular schedule where you're taking 8 classes at a time. You take your first 4 classes on that A day, and you take the next 4 classes, so periods 5, 6, 7, and 8 on the B day, those green days. And if you'll notice, Mondays and Wednesdays are A days, Tuesdays and Thursdays are B days, and then as you'll see, A and B days alternate on Fridays. So for those of you who are not used to this schedule, it takes a little getting used to, but don't worry. And one of the things that that might be helpful to you is to have an A and B day binder and to just grab the appropriate one each day of school so you can keep track of all your schoolwork. That's helpful. And then the daily schedule, we will start at 8:30. So once again, a little bit more time to sleep in. And then periods 1, so for an A day, period 1 will start at 8:30, then period 2 will start at 9:55, then we'll have advisory, then lunch, then 2 more periods after lunch. So period 3 starts at 12:45, period 4 starts at 2:10, and we go to 3:30 each day. So B days are kind of the same, except you would go period 5 and 6, then advisory, then lunch, then periods 7 and 8. And Fridays are a little bit different because these are the days when your teachers all get together to collaborate and do their learning, their professional development to figure out how they can be better educators. So on the Friday, you would have periods 1 and 2, or 5 and 6, then lunch, then periods 3 and 4, depending on whether it's a or B day, or 7 and 8. And then teachers get together to collaborate. So you get to leave a little bit early on a Friday at 2:50. And again, it looks a little complicated, but you'll get used to it. So we are not planning for distance learning next year. So this hybrid schedule that you've gotten used to, we are planning to go back fully in person. So the majority of students will be attending in person in the classroom. There may be a few students who have some serious reasons why they can't attend in person. So for those students, independent study will be available, and that will be through Edgenuity, but that will be really limited. So for the most part, by and large, all our student body will be back on campus and attending school in person. We'll keep the COVID-19 protocols in place, and that includes masking, 3 feet of social distancing, consistent hand washing. So we'll keep those hand washing stations out there. And then again, quarantining for students who test positive for COVID or have been in close contact with someone who has tested positive. So some things might change and we'll be responsive. I know there are a lot of questions about whether masks will be required. As of now, we know that staff and students will still have to wear masks. I don't anticipate that changing anytime soon, but I will let you know as soon as I hear. The state is still requiring it. And then a big thing that I want to talk about that will help us all be able to return to school safely is the availability of COVID-19 vaccines for ages 12 and up. So conceivably, as an entire school, we should all be able to be vaccinated, and that will go so far to make us safer as a school. So there's lots of research out about the efficacy of the COVID vaccines. So this information is from the American Pediatric Society, and research tells us that the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines are remarkably safe and effective for adults and teens. And this is actually ages 12 and up. This was a kind of an older quote that I grabbed for you, but now we know they are effective for adults and teens ages 12 and up. And the trials for each of the vaccines involved tens of thousands of volunteers. So this is something that the clinical trials, it was very well tested. The vaccines continue to be monitored very closely. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say the COVID-19 vaccines will have the most intensive safety monitoring in US history. And what we're finding now that close to half the population in the US has been vaccinated is that they are very, very safe and very, very effective. You can register for an appointment at myturn.ca.gov if you have not been vaccinated yet, and I hope everyone pursues this over the summer. You do have to have parent permission, and you have to go with a parent at this point to be vaccinated, so keep that in mind. We know that this has been a hard year for everyone, and that it will be long-term in terms of coming back to school and recovering from the emotional impact of being in a pandemic. And so we have lots of plans for making sure that you feel taken care of, your social needs are taken care of, and your emotional needs are taken care of. So always, always reach out for help. If you're having a hard time and struggling, let your teachers know. You can always come to me. Advisory will be a place where we continue to work on getting connected with each other and feeling safe emotionally and socially. We are planning for before and after school learning. So you will have a place to go where you can get your homework done or get some help if you need it. We'll have more counselor support, so you'll be able to talk to someone if you need it. Increased one-on-one and small group tutoring, especially in the academic classes. We'll continue to talk about suicide awareness and prevention. I think we made a great start this year, but we have lots more to talk about to make sure that you feel safe and you feel okay and you know how to support your friends who are going through struggles. And then we will also have summer school in place. So if you need to make up credits, you can do that through summer school. If you haven't heard about summer school and you're thinking about wanting to do that this summer, let your counselor know. So that's kind of the big picture and what we have planned for next year. I know that a lot of you will still are still feeling kind of anxious about coming back to school. We've spent a whole year being nervous, being anxious about getting sick, about getting our loved ones sick, and it's hard to sort of get back to normal and to feel safe and secure. It's going to take a little bit of time. So just know that we've done our homework and we've made sure to consult the experts and consult with our community and say, this is we feel safe going forward with this plan. So if you still have questions, you can reach out to me anytime. My email is bbrown@inspirechico.org. I'll be working through most of the summer. If you want to stop by my office, you're welcome to do that. If you want to reach out to Mr. Hardy, his email is khardy@inspirechico.org. Our counselors don't work over the summer, but you can certainly call the office if you need help with anything between around 9 and 1. So there'll be limited office hours, but there should be someone there to take your call, or they'll get back to you. So you can just call 530-891-3090. So once again, I just can't, I don't have words to express how proud I am of you and how grateful I am for you. I'm so glad to be your principal, and I look forward to hanging out with you next year. So have a wonderful rest of your day and have fun. Bye, everyone.